Okay, let's see. I don't know what to do about the output.
Spiritual. You can't always go by your feelings because your feelings are corrupted. Your feelings are just as corrupted as ever.
You are now in the realm of enlightenment and transformation.
Welcome to Chief Speaks.
All music performed and produced by Yuya.
Enlightenment and transformation. Enlightenment comes from allowing yourself to journey through the dark shadows of death, the primordial abyss of wisdom's waters. For it is the treasures and mysteries that lie wait in the dark that transform us and propel us to a new enlightened state. One should neither aspire to live in the light nor the dark, but should journey between the two in order to evolve the overall reality into a self-actualized creation. Knowledge is your light as wisdom is your darkness. The bold interplay of the two in your life leads you to an enlightened understanding of yourself and the universe you've created. Male is your enlightenment. Female is your transformation. Child is your evolution. Woman, accept the light into your darkness so it may enlighten you. Man, bring your light boldly into the darkness so that it may transform you. Enlightenment and transformation.
I love you so much because you just don't know what you've just done for me. Thank you so much.
Wow. This is like the best call I've had in ages on BTR.
So this show was meant for me to be able to hear today, and I'm so thankful.
That's his home.
Therefore, now a new pathway has now been cut in order to get to the Almighty, where there may not have been one. So the communication with them, if they have enough power and strength to talk to us, the communication will be very clear.
That's one of the reasons I don't get into the current events thing.
too much, because it starts to become a perpetual alarm clock that we just keep hitting snooze on. I speak to the ascended masters, quote unquote. I talk about spiritual stuff, but I also speak about some very practical, we can do today things.
Be as natural as you can be with your spiritual. You can't always go by your feelings, because your feelings are corrupted. Your feelings are just as corrupted as everything else, your chakras and everything else. You got to know what's beyond you, and that's why we have elders. We can't do everything. You can't get everything out of books or weekend certification. You can have the most powerful, ancient, oldest, most, as far as you know, truthful tradition in your hands, and if you still have a dirty spirit, you're not going to get anything out of it. You're not going to learn anything. You're not actually going to grow. I try to teach in a way where I make myself obsolete. That's always been my goal, to make myself obsolete.
I really wanted to, kind of big you up. I think you're awesome.
There's a lot of elders out here right now that want to know what's going on. They're not getting on Twitter and stuff like that, but they want to be up on the new stuff. Sit down and have some conversations with them. It's not always about hearing their story. It's also about being news reporters for them and letting them know, like, yeah, this is what's happening right now. They may tell you something about what happened in Charleston that you couldn't even. Your spirituality has to create sane spiritual family. Okay, and that family exists first inside of you. You have to express the different expressions of that rainbow coalition of spirits inside of you first. Okay, don't let communities hijack that rainbow. The problem is, when we come into the conscious community, the dudes are doing the same thing that the women are doing.
I just want to say that I really enjoy your show every Sunday, and my friend and I call it going to church. When we call in, we'll be like, "You going to church?" And I'm like, where have y'all been at?
God cannot go against its own truth. So anytime you have an inkling that God is going against its own truth, then God is no longer behaving as God. So therefore, the spiritual community doesn't recognize God. You dig where I'm coming from? Or can we have a new thought? Can we step outside of the books for a second and have a new conversation about hair weaves and wigs? Can we have a new conversation about homosexuality? Can we have a new conversation about vegan eating? We doing it's a good day for exorcism.
347-945-7680. Call in and let's build.
You are. Greetings. Welcome everyone to Chief Speaks. And I am one of your hosts, Kim. And Chief will be in a little bit later with insight. I will that everyone's dawning is going well and productive. So before I get started with the show today, I'm going to just make a few announcements, and I'm going to go over the recap for the strong. But just there's a bit of an echo. Let me see if I can correct that real quick. I do apologize. Okay, there we go. Better. well, no. Okay, I'm gonna go. Again, I'm gonna go over the recap for this show. And if you look at any of those, you can go to our YouTube channel on Enlightenment Transformation. And just a reminder, the shows are no longer on Blog Talk. The only show that Blog Talk is Chief Speaks. The other shows are on our YouTube channel, Enlightenment Transformation TV. So on Monday, I have Sister Tyrell and Brother Damon Laws with the business component of ANU Nation. Helps you blend your spirituality with business. And so this last strong they spoke on managing conflict for business. So they gave us a little insight on how to handle conflict problems within your staff, or if it's you. When it comes to dealing with business situation. On Wednesday, I have a new stuff, and that was the segment that I did, and this last strong. I spoke on neocon and linked in meditation how the heart is how you can open up that heart chakra or open up that heart realm, the Okan realm during meditation. On Thursday with Chuya, we had stamina and hang on just a second. We had stamina and endurance, and he spoke on how we sometimes need to be able to ground center ourselves before we get started or to help improve some of our situations. And how to flex that muscle. He spoke again on heart and gave some examples of how to warm that muscle up and work with that muscle so that we can have some endurance and stamina. And then on Foundational Friday, we had Chief Jegna again, and he came and spoke to us about the I am and how important it is to define ourselves. And he also spoke on a very dangerous thing that we do sometimes when we try to correct some of the things in our lives, and we start on this journey, but we use that word but and sometimes curses a lot of things that we do or keeps us from moving forward. So again, all of those shows can be found on our YouTube channel, Enlightenment and Transformation TV, and you can go there and subscribe so you can keep up with times of the show. Again, none of the shows are airing Blog Talk. Chief Speaks is the only one. So if you want to check those out, make sure you go to our YouTube channel. So we're going to take a quick break right now, and I'm going to see if we can I can fix my mic situation here. And quick commercial, and then Chief will back with the insight for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Sadulu House Spiritual Center would like to invite you to join our learning community by encouraging you to sign up for our monthly webinars. Our webinars offer live interactive instruction designed to help empower you in your spiritual evolution and ritual work. The webinars we provide are purposed to help you dive deeper into the concepts and calculations of the Chief Jegna of Anu Nation, Peru, Yuya Assan-ANU. Through the decoding and exploration of sound, symbol, ancient and contemporary text, and various other tools used to invoke a state of highest awareness, we are able to abandon the constrictions of dead thought to travel to higher states of awareness, which is our rightful designation. To view our list of webinars, go to saduluhouse.com/events. Topics for 2016 include meditation, spiritual cleansing, astral projection, chakras, crystals, water magic, candle magic, the third eye, animal totems, dreams, and sex magic. Remember, go to saduluhouse.com/events to register.
The Alpha Omega Store is a family-owned and operated premier online store serving as your one-stop shop for all of your spiritual and self-development needs. At the Alpha Omega Store, we offer you hard-to-find spiritual and ritual supplies, books, DVDs, personal development services, monthly specials, international shipping, and more. From spiritual supplies to business products and services, our mission is to provide you with the tools that will put you on your road to success. Purchase your quality products and services today at alphaomegastore.com. Bring yourself to a place of spiritual and holistic balance with exclusive life design services at osirislife.com. At Osiris Life, we offer our members exclusive one-on-one instruction, including 3 monthly service level options to choose from, monthly spiritual consultations, monthly podcasts and videos, custom tailored development plans, spiritual work done on your behalf, life coaching and support, and working solutions with real results. Awaken to your personal greatness and purchase your membership package today at osirislife.com. And now, back to our segment.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another Chief Speaks. I want to welcome all of you who are tuning in for the first time, and I certainly want to welcome all of you who have been consistent and loyal and endured listeners from early on. I am Chief Yuya, head instructor of the Sadulu House Spiritual Center, Chief Jegna of ANU Nation, as well as the ANU Life Global Ministries. And I want to welcome you to this moment where we take an opportunity to dig a little deeper into what we are and who we are and look at a mirror. When I speak on things or other individuals call in and share what they're going through and what they've discovered, I will that it just serve as a mirror to everyone listening. That's what it really should be, more than you just sitting outside and someone may call in and say that they discovered something amazing about the potato, something amazing about the fruit fly, and you may say, oh, that doesn't apply to me, I'm not going to listen. I would always will that you see that whatever is being expressed and whatever is coinciding with your life experience is something coming from a higher sphere of spirituality, and it's here to teach you. You know, you have in all parts of the world, you have different levels of spirituality, you have different levels of culture, and some may be a bit more backwards, some may be a bit more dysfunctional than others, but all of the world, all that is incarnate with a carbon matrix is moving slowly, and maybe even to a level that it's barely perceivable by our human senses, but all things are moving towards a place of evolution. Even if they start at a very slow space, or they seem to even be going to be devolving right now, even their devolving is a part of their coming forward to a waking and shining sun. So it's always important for us to not only respect where everyone is at, but when people are sharing things, to make sure that we're listening, that we become intense listeners, because all things shared are represent the light of the world. All things. Now, you can have good light and then you can have not so good light, but you know, in keeping pace with the evolving forces, you know, we learn to really appreciate and give our full attention to all things that are around us. So, you know, I always want to thank those who call in just to share, you know, just to say, well, this is my I call it testimony, you know, or my chronicle, or, you know, my documentary of what I've gone through, or what I've lived, or what I've discovered, and what I currently may know, or what I currently may believe. There's value in all of them. So, you know, I want to express appreciation towards those who have been bold enough to call in and share that, or some of you have written emails, some of you have commented on the different videos and just different platforms. I try to keep up with all of the comments, because it's not so hard. You know, now with technology, you can kind of see that stuff quickly through your phones and things like that. But I do try to keep up, and there's a lot of good feedback and testimonials we get all the time, and those are more important to me, honestly, than some of the other stuff that comes in. So I try to give that stuff priority, because it helps me to even understand what is hitting people, how it's hitting them, and how they're climbing those rungs, those ladder rungs of attainment into the mystic, you know, and into the mystic world. So again, I want to thank you all for that. But all of that is surrounding what I wanted to share in this Sunday's Insight. And as I said, there are some changes coming very soon in the new financial year with ANU, and I invite you all to experience those changes with us, because you'll enjoy them. You know, I try not to I try to enjoy every moment and every step of this work, whether even if it's the stuff that's not enjoyable, perceivably not enjoyable, I try to find a way to enjoy it. And even in presenting information, I try to let my feeling come through. So if I'm enjoying presenting, I don't block that feeling. I let it come right through, even if I'm speaking about something very serious. But I speak according to my own light, and then hopefully that light is discriminated against to a degree, and you can scrutinize it and discriminate it and say, okay, well, what is this? And disparage it from other feelings that you may have that are supposed to be associated with the information. Sometimes we think it's supposed to come a certain way, or a person is supposed to have a certain solemnness or a certain even sobriety when they're presenting information. But if you know it, you know it. You don't have to pretend sobriety. You don't have to pretend solemnness. You don't have to pretend piety, because those who have the ability to disparage light can see under the delusion of those things. And no one wants to be replunged into darkness. No one wants to just embrace a delusion unless they want to be plunged into darkness. But you can feel the authenticity and the realness and the bona fide vibration if it's someone that's just sharing, and whether they're having fun sharing or whatever, it can be fun. Culture doesn't have to be punishment. Living your culture doesn't mean now that you give up all of the joys of life. In fact, life becomes a more joyous experience when you know how to look at it. Things that you may have stomped and stepped over just before now become amazing to you. And sometimes in the very basic of senses, you may have one time stomped and stepped all over your yard and killed all the weeds and sprayed things down. And then when you start delving more and deeper into your higher self and your deeper light, you come to realize that those things have deep medicinal value. You never knew. You just stomped all over them before, so you become happy. You find them all around you. Wow, all of this medicine is around me, or all of these different signs represented through plant life are all around me. All of this protection is all around me. I never knew, and sometimes the further we get away from knowing that authentic self, that's that process of involution. And, during that involution process, we get encrusted into an ego. We even get encrusted into a body that sometimes takes us so far away from the knowings of the deeper and more essential powers and medicines that are around us, that we begin to identify everything with that bodily vibration. And that's kind of what I wanted to speak about a bit in this insight, along with everything I've been speaking about for the last 8 minutes. But initiations, big topic in the indigenous sciences community, right? Or what we call the ATR, African traditional religions. Initiations often is how many of us are initiated into the knowing of these systems. We go get a reading and we're told we need to get initiated. We have the money, so we go do it. And after the initiation, we feel a greater sense of power. We feel an unfolding of our soul to a degree. We have the ability to tap into subversive energies a bit more and kind of see what's going on around us. And we become immured in this mystical kingdom, this spiritual world that we never could necessarily see before because our vibratory pitch was so slow. But the thing is, 9 times out of 10, that doesn't happen for you. Okay, so I know I just described a more ideal situation. It's very rare that you actually have any of that. For the most part, you'll have that for a short period of time and then it'll go away. And then you're struggling, you're clamoring for many years to try to reclaim that feeling again, or to reclaim that awareness again. And you just can't seem to do it, despite all of the different things you're reading, and you're told, okay, we'll work with SU like this, do go to the water, and you'll have momentary that you're reaching for. So that's where the challenge comes in. And what I'll tell you is this: the reason why a lot of times you don't get those feelings, or you don't get those experiences, and now you have a whole cadre of people who are not even in the tradition telling you initiations are not necessary to work with the Orisha. Yes and no. Yes and no. And for the most part, these are people who are sharing that information based on a lack of financial resources. So because they don't have the resources to pay for an initiation, they tell you that it's not necessary. But they're not even in the tradition, so what would they know? They know nothing. Ignore them. All right? And I'm not saying that everything that they're saying is false. I'm saying most of what they're saying is false, or the basis of it is actually comes from a place that's not real, that's not true. All right, so let me explain to you. The first thing I want to tell you, if you don't remember anything else that I say in this insight this Sunday on Chief Speaks, initiations cannot be bought. If you don't remember anything else, remember that. You can't buy an initiation. It's impossible. Now, I bring this up too because a lot of people, I've lost students behind this who've wanted me to initiate them, and I didn't initiate them. You know, it must be crazy. Why would you turn down money, right? And clearly initiation is the most expensive ritual that I would probably ever charge a fee for. So that's a jackpot ritual, right? Very few people of later years and on this continent have been initiated by me. I have a lot of initiates, you know, but not in comparison and ratio to the amount of people who say they are my students and say they follow me. Because I'll explain. And like I said, this has been a point of contention for many people, you know, around me. I've had even one person who thought I couldn't do initiations, you know, mainly because I never brought it up to him. But he was not ready for initiation. You know, I'll do consecrations, which bring us closer to that space. And the consecrations imbues you with a certain power. It covers you with a certain energy, and it's more of a physical thing. But you got to understand something, that initiation is a spiritual process. You go through a spiritual initiation. You cannot go through a bodily exercise in order to initiate into a spiritual reality. It doesn't work. You have to use spiritual exercises to initiate into a spiritual reality. Okay? Anybody could take yoga. Anybody can stretch, and it feels good. Anyone can stretch and stretch out their organs and heat up their organs. Does that mean that they're now initiated into the mysteries of a yogi? No. It just means that their body is more prepared to now initiate into the mysteries of a yogi. Maybe, if that's the path they want to go. So in the same instance, when I do consecrations, it opens a person's reality up. It opens a person's awareness up. And it covers them with a certain vibration. So now when they want to go do that work to really become an initiate, it's much easier for them. Okay. But it's not an initiation. And I'll explain why. Initiation is like a marriage. Okay. This is the easy way for you to understand it. An initiation is like a marriage. Okay. So a consecration is like an adoption. So I can adopt you into the family of Anu and share the strength and the power and the wisdom and the clarity of my spiritual servants and my spiritual guides with you. I can consecrate you into that. But the initiation requires a deeper and more silent and even a more subtle level of contract. Okay. So like I said, initiation is like a marriage, and I cannot sell you a marriage. I can't sell you a marriage. You see, what I can do is sell you the ceremony that either precedes, precipitates, accommodates, or follows an actual marriage, but I can't sell you the marriage. You must perform that act yourself after making a connection and agreeing with a willing partner. It makes sense, right? So you find a partner that wants to work with you, or that wants to put up with you, or, you know, depending on your disposition, and you make a contractual agreement that we will be married. And in most instances, you marry. If that may mean intercourse or some type of intertwining, but there's a marriage. The actual marriage you have to perform yourself. And then there's a ceremony. But sometimes there may be a ceremony beforehand to facilitate the marriage. Someone, you know, you may bring in priests and you may bring in people in your community so that they may set up a marital bed. And you may drum and give offerings and things like that. And then you go into your space and you consummate the marriage. That's making it real. There's no marriage before that. And then when you come out, there's more drumming and dancing and feasting and wine and all kind of things. You can pay for that. You can pay for that. But to try to just pay for an initiation or to pay for a marriage with an energy that you have never made a real true connection to, which again is so often, is like me charging you to actually rape someone. And I know it sounds a bit extreme, as you know, but that's what it really is. Picture it again in the sense of marriage. Okay, you see an energy that you like or a person that you like. You've never made any real, sincere, true connection. There's no silent or tacit agreement between the two of you. You go to someone and say, I want that person. I want that person to live inside of me. And they say, okay, give me $1,500. Give me $2,000. Give me $5,000. $10,000. I'll give you a break. Just give me $600. Right? And what do? They take that person and they take you and they smash you together for 3 days. That's what it is. And then you feel their presence, you feel their energy, and through all the elaborate ceremony and the clashing of sounds and the mystery of it all, and the grave and solemn and ominous warnings that you're giving throughout your readings, you really feel that you have connected to something, that you have actually done something. But you haven't. You just smashed against something that was not even willing to begin with. You can't sell marriage. Again, like I said, I can perform the ceremony that follows a true marriage, and I can also create an environment where a healthy marriage is possible. The consecration begins. That's the introduction to that energy. That's the introduction. Not you sitting down in front of someone's mat and they saying, oh, so-and-so wants you. Okay, well, if so-and-so wanted you, you'd know. You'd know. And you have to want so-and-so, and you have to then create a relationship. You see, the initiation is actually had in the quietness. Initiations, you really and honestly initiate yourself. That's the truth of it all. It may happen during a walk one day. It may happen in a quiet moment when you're just sitting in your room. It may happen when you're swimming one day, or when you're lost at sea, or lost in New York, or whatever. But an initiation is a quiet and personal thing. Now, the connection to a greater community and acknowledgement of a greater community, that's not a quiet, that's a public thing. That's something that you would bring a priest and things like that for. But an initiation changes the pitch and vibration of you at an atomic level, because really that's your atoms are the medium for initiation. Now, I know many of you may listen now and say, well, yeah, I feel like I am initiated. Most of you are not. 99.9% of you are not. I have to be honest with you. There's few of you, because the first thing that you'll understand about the initiation is that there's a character change. How many of you will say in one breath, yeah, I feel like I'm connected to these energies and I don't need this and I don't need that? Well, first of all, if you say that, then I already know you're not initiated, because that's a pretty narcissistic statement. But the thing is, how many of you have that, but then you look at your life and you can see that the vibratory pitch of your life is not much further than the people around you? See, initiates, what they do is they transcend the backwardness of their race. That's what an initiate does. You know, races and collectives and groups of people, they're given religion, and religion serves each group. There's supposed to be more than one religion. You know, you don't always have to go into that homogenous thing where we're all one and we're serving one God. That doesn't work for everybody, because everyone ethnically and genetically has a different set of needs. You know, now, of course, we all, most of us, I'm assuming, need to breathe and need to consume something in order to produce energy. Most of us. But then after that, things change. We have a different set of needs, and not only collectively and racially, we have different karma that we have to address. So therefore, it would require a different set of codexes and doctrines and pedagogy to bind us back to the source, which religion is, a binding back to the source. Okay, we all have different sources, and even if we said we have one sources, we all strayed and fell from the sources in different manner. Okay, so the multitude of religions, there's nothing wrong with that. There's even nothing wrong with a multitude of deities. You know, polytheism is not a curse, because some of us need different things in order to get back. Some need a little Shango, some need a little Tahuti, you know, some need a little Centella Ndoki, some need a little Chi, you know, some need different things in order to get back to the source. But in any case, so the initiate begins to channel a vibration through their vital energy and on an atomic level. And that channeling of that energy begins to cause them to transcend from their lowest, from rounding off to their lowest part to pushing up through a medium of growth into their highest part. Okay, and they become liberated from the deadening energy of the physical body. They become liberated from the deadening force of a physical atom. Okay, and many of this is attained just through simple breathing. Believe it or not, you could initiate yourself into deep mysteries just by breathing. Okay, and typically you need someone to teach you this. This is where your guides come in, because again, can you learn it from a book? Most likely no, because when you're breathing and you're learning with the guide is actually sharing their breath with you. You know, that's the secret to it. They're breathing the breath of life inside of you, and the continuum passes on from vibratory body to vibratory body to vibratory body. You know, so getting it out of the book isn't the same thing. Now, of course, we could say, but I can pull it in from the atmosphere. Maybe. And maybe a child can teach themselves how to read. Maybe. You know, but they may look at the books and immediately see no purpose in them other than to stand on top of them. They may not see a necessity to even read, you know, or why certain things are strung together. They'd have to hear someone speak the language first to see the sense that the actual words would make. Okay, so like I said, an initiation is no different in the sense of an agreement or an agreeance. If the partners are not in agreeance and the suitable environment has not been created or you're not ready, there can be no initiation. And many times people are not ready. That's really what it is, many times. So when I do consecrations with people, I do itefas and, you know, I do different work, I'm readying them for that moment of silent and tacit acceptance. And sometimes that can happen for a person during an initiation. But I'll tell you this, there can be no initiation regardless of the amount of money that one throws at a priest. Doesn't matter. You can throw $1 million. Can I be initiated for $1 million? No, you can't. Because in an initiation, that's just like, can I be married for $1 million? Ceremonially, Yeah, ceremoniously, you can be married for $1 million. Through bodily action, can you be married for? Yeah, sure. But spiritually, are you linked to that person for $1 million? No, you're not. How much does that cost? Nothing. And it's much deeper than just a feeling. It's much deeper than just saying, I feel the presence of Eshu. I don't need the initiation. It's not the same thing. It's Eshu now moving through the medium of your spiritual atomic structure. That's different. Not the same as I feel him pulsing through my veins. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. You see, initiation, like I said, is a spiritual process, and a spiritual progress that can be accomplished by physical exercises does not get you there. It can only be accomplished by spiritual exercises. And, you know, even if you're initiating into a higher order or a higher level of mysticism, there's no ceremony. There's no ceremony that can give you that inward experience of initiation. Of course, and I know many of you who've been consecrated by me or initiated, many of you come back with a report and say, as soon as you touched me, or as soon as you started speaking, I felt this surge going through me. Yeah, you did. Some of us have that, whatever you want to call it. When we touch people or when we speak, you feel that divinity coming through us. But some of you have that thing where you can recognize it. Just as special as it is for you to come back and tell me that when I heard you, someone said to me recently, I listen to your shows, and when I hear you speak, I hear the voice of God when you speak. You know, and he said, I'm dead serious. Listen to me. I hear God when you speak. Well, the specialness is not so much in that. The specialness is in that you have ears to hear. Because God is speaking through many things. God is speaking through a tree. God is speaking through an ant. God is speaking through a baby crying. You know? But can you hear that? That's the special part. That means you're vibrating beyond your race. Like we see sometimes, you're a credit to your race. You're vibrating beyond your group, your ethnic group, your race, you know. And if you consider that point very thoroughly, if you consider that the conversion from, like we did the show on saints, the conversion from sinner to saint is an inward experience, and it's not an occult feeling. It's not a indigenous feeling. It's not a spiritual feeling. And you may revel in the adventures of an experience or ceremony where there's these beautiful robes and there's a passionate ceremony. And you may say, well, I was charged a lot of money, so this has got to be it. But that's not it. And, you know, I've been doing this series recently on just how can we start attaining those higher states of consciousness, and how can we start moving to where we want to be, and some of the things that immediately block our path. And you got to understand the objective work of physical existence over the race run and the day of action spent. The ego centers upon the subjective work of assimilation accomplished during our sojourning through the invisible worlds, traverses from death to birth, you know, from death to birth, symbolized by so many different things. Like when we get married, some, they wear that ring, which is really the ring of ownership, but it's supposed to symbolize, you know, the objective work of physical to spiritual, death to birth. Right. But of course, so many things are perverted when we come from the psychic world into the physical world. There's a great perversion when we're entering or leaving those different realms a lot of times. I don't want to say unfortunately, because those perversions and those corruptions are where the growth begins. And, you know, but the key is we have to cultivate what we receive. Like when you're consecrated or you listen to these shows or you're working with me, the cultivation of such is just like cultivating the earth. And if you don't cultivate it, it can become barren. if you don't take care of it. Your mind can become barren to the point that you can't receive any of this stuff anymore. So going and initiating through ceremony a barren mind is a waste of time. You have to understand, nature is not to be cheated, and the divine is not to be mocked. No matter how much money you throw at it, you can't cheat nature and you can't mock the divine. You know, whatever you invest in or you cultivate is what you're going to receive. As they say, when is it? Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. You see? So even though you may throw a lot of money at an initiation or get mad at me because I didn't initiate you, you know inwardly what you've really sowed into. You know where your life investments have been and where they've not been. And I know too, even if I don't say it. So just understand that initiations cannot be bought, and it's an inward thing. And the consecration that we do here at ANU is a beginning to that place, to get you to that place of balance and clarity and equalization, where you can now be initiated. The ANU spiritual training phase 1 through 3 is the same thing. The classes, the shows, becoming a part of this movement is all so that you can initiate into a higher order. But filling out an online form to become a part of the ministry or getting a class or anything, that does not initiate you. You initiate you. You know, you initiate you. And when you don't cultivate and move towards that level, you live each day and each evening in your own hell. You know how hard it is not to do it. Even though you've gone through the ceremonies, you know the hell that you still live, the confusion that you still walk through, and just the transitory experiences of blissfulness, like you're walking on air, that come from occasional ceremony, which makes you think, I'm okay because I went to a bembe or a misad and I had a reading and this and that, and I feel good. But you know that there's been no inward change into the good world. All right, that has been our insight for this Sunday. Thank you all for listening. I am Chief Yuya.
Okay. Welcome back to Chief Speaks, and you just heard the insight for this strong from Chief on initiations. And I really enjoyed that segment. It was very powerful because so many times we get so confused about initiations, and we want to go back and capture something ancient or old, and we think that just that feeling, that strong feeling you get from the ceremony is it. But like you said, when you're home, it's like what do you, and you have no instruction, you have no direction. You're just kind of floating off of memories from the ceremony that you had. But I see we have a call from the 609 code. So we'll go ahead and start the calls. 609. 609.
Okay, seems that there's nothing happening with 609, so we're going to bring 609 down. All right, and for any of you who want to call in and share, you can call in at 347-945-7680. Again, that's 347-945-7680. You have to hit the number 1. And if you're called into the high frequency side, you already know the number is 424-222-5250. Same thing. You just hit the number 1 and you can speak. And I want to reiterate too something that Sister Kim said earlier. The Monday through Friday shows are now airing on YouTube exclusively. So a lot of people have reached out to me and thought that I actually quit the shows, because they weren't able to catch Thunderground Thursday Foundation and Friday called in, didn't hear anything. That's because you don't listen. We were announcing for like 2 months that those shows were going over to YouTube. So pay attention. That happens with a lot of different things. We tell you this is what's happening. You don't pay attention, or you just fast forward to the part where the insight is shared, or somebody says something funny. You don't listen to the whole show. So that's the reason for that. You didn't listen, you didn't pay attention, and you thought the show went off the air. All right. I just wanted to share that with you all. Pay attention. You can't get good at this. Even your own spiritual development, if you're not a good listener. This isn't for people who have poor listening comprehension. It's not for that. Because most of this stuff is listening. Like I've always said, when it comes to spiritual work, the majority of it, 90% of it is feminine. And the feminine element is the listening element. It's the receptive element. So if you can't do that, you're not going to be able to make it happen. Yeah, you're not going to be able to make it happen at all in this work. So just kind of keep that in mind, as we're doing what we're doing and trying to make things happen. Just keep that in mind.
Is that one of those character changes you spoke of? Being able to listen?
Yeah, actually, but you know what? That happens before. You can't change character until you can listen. So it's like certain things you need are fundamental. Certain things you need are kind of rudimentary, and you need certain rudimentary qualities just to get to that space. And without those, and you'll never get there. Not in this lifetime. You won't get there. It's like saying I reached my place of enlightenment, but I'm a very angry person. That's impossible. You can't, be angry and be enlightened. You're not going to get both of them. And understand that anger is a transitory, emotion. We all get angry at times, and there's nothing wrong per se with anger, but it's an abomination to evolution. So and it's important to understand that idea of abomination. Something that's an abomination doesn't necessarily mean that it's inherently wrong. It just means that it's wrong to get to a certain place. It's not going to work to get to a certain place. So yeah, anger and greed and doubt and fear, they're abominations to your spiritual ascension. Yeah. But we're going to end the show early. All right. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Chief Speaks. I actually feel like I've said enough. Okay. And I feel like enough has been said. You guys need to think about what was shared. Yeah, don't be mad at me. I know some of you are going to be, what? You got to go with the flow of spirit. My spirit is telling me you guys need to go enjoy your families and spend some time with your loved ones and just think about the insight that was shared. All right. Sister Kim, do you have anything to leave us out with?
I just wanted to encourage everyone to go back and listen to the insight, because there was a lot given. And for those of us who have maybe been through those ceremonies, and for those who go out and say, you don't have to be initiated to work with the Orisha, all those misconceptions you get from, different teachers saying different things, and people who aren't teachers saying things. I think it's well worth it to go back and listen before you decide to go out and pay all this money, And I just wanted to say too, because here in the West, we costume a lot. So the first thing we do, we change our hair, we get locks, we buy the jewelry, we buy the clothes, we got to go get initiated, and now we know everything. And I just think that's, you're doing yourself a huge disservice, and you're not getting what you should be getting. So, yeah. And don't get caught up in other people's stories so much.
This is true.
Because like you said, most of the time they're lying.
Yeah. You have to be sensitive to that.
Yeah.
A lot of times people are exaggerating their spiritual experiences, for sure. All right.
But
thank you. Appreciate it. We're going to take, I see some calls popped up last minute. So we'll see. We'll see if I go against my spiritual flow. Let's see if it works out. 856, you're on Chief Speaks.
Yeah, Chief, how you doing, though?
I'm good, brother. How you doing today?
Good to hear you. Excellent. It's good to hear you this morning, man. And I think what you're doing with your spiritual move is good. But I was going to hold off to say something, but since you're closing, I just wanted to mention something like an insight or a type of study I've been doing with this word evolution.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, the theory was purported by Darwin to support slavery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been checking it out and seeing how it's being used and where it's going and all that, and I seem to find that a lot of times that because we're in a situation that's like quicksand and we're going down, we reach out for a lot of things to grab onto. And we grabbed on, I hear a lot of people bantering around the word evolution without the cognizance that the theory was purported to support slavery. But I see our so-called conscious, I got another thing with that conscious too, conscious community is bantering it around and in support of slavery. So without thinking, that's what they're doing. However, to banter it around supports slavery because that's what it was designed for. So I was thinking about that when a child is born and they become an adult, did they evolve or did they just grow? And can we drop that word and stop supporting slavery and move into metamorphosis, move into other things? Because I'm not sure. I was just at the point when you came on this morning trying to consider whether evolution is linear or cyclic or circular, spiral, this kind of thing, you know. But it seems to be from the theory, the way the theory is out and the way it's being used, is linear. So I was just suggesting that we might want to take a turn and look at this word that we're bantering around so easily and see what it really is doing and what the true effect of it is, even though it seems to be like, everybody understands what you're saying, so we just use this word, you know, which is cool, I guess. But where is it leading to as far as the freedom of the family, the liberation of the family? And that's what I was into.
Okay.
Just a thought to kind of kick it around and meditate or contemplate the concept a little bit more. Aren't we really growing or even just morphing, changing? Because change is, my thing.
Well, the thing is, I would say this, brother, it's important also to understand the context of how words are used throughout the ages, because we associate the term evolution a lot with Charles Darwin, but in fact, and that's because of his book, The Origin of Species. But, and I've read the book, and in fact, that word evolution is not used until the end of the actual book, and it's only used one time. So it wasn't actually so much Darwin that used that word or that ideology, because the word, we have it in works going back to the 1600s, and The Origin of Species was written in 1859. So it wasn't so much that the word was created or generated for the purposes of enslaving folks. In fact, the word was originally it meant to like, like when you see them old Victorian films when they're getting ready, the town crier comes out and he's getting ready to read an announcement and he rolls out a scroll. That was the original meaning of the word evolve or evolutio, and it meant to like open up a book or to roll a book out. So the idea of evolution takes us to the predetermined and predestined traits of our genetics that are already in us, that are just unfolding. They already exist. But sometimes, unfortunately, for the purposes of social modification, people will take ideologies and they'll take terms and they'll apply it to what they want. They'll even take a resurrection of a Kemetic deity and apply it to their dead religion, So sometimes people hijack stuff and then we associate it with people who may have used it in different ways. But, Darwin was really trying to just more so hit a point really that we all animals and we all got animal DNA. That's really what it was about. Where you start hearing even the early theories about the shape of a human fetus in comparison to the shape of a fish fetus and how they're practically identical, and how the evolution of the 3-bone structure, like coming from your shoulder, most animals have that structure, 3 bones and then digits, so he was trying to really make us, or get us to accept the animal nature, the bestial nature, which was on something else. But it's different ways to look at it, different ways, definitely, brother, to look at it. But thank you for sharing that. Okay, I don't hear him. I don't know if he, okay. All right, we're going to go to the next one. 816 area code. 816, you're on Chief Speaks.
Peace, Chief.
Peace.
I was calling in because I have a comment and a question. Comment was that I know I tried calling in on the enlightenment and transformation side, and it was just blank. So I don't know if that has anything to do with, I don't know how many amount of listeners you have, but it was blank, so I had to call it on the high frequency side. And,
okay. Thanks for letting us know.
You're welcome. My question today is if you could possibly give some light on or share some advice on how a person could continue on their spiritual path even if they're under being incarcerated, how they could still gather or get the resources to hear you, to get books and stuff like that. Is that something that that can be done?
Yeah, depending on the
while
facility.
A person's incarcerated.
Yeah, I have a lot of people in the penal system that I work with. Depending on the facility, some facilities you can still bring cassette tapes into, depending on the jail. So you can actually always record you may not have a cassette deck at home, but you can get one. You can record the shows and whatnot on a cassette deck and share them that way. Also, if you purchase the books directly, you can send them directly from a publisher to a jail. For instance, Black and Nobel in Philadelphia carries my books, and they can ship. Certain stores can ship directly to prisons. Because you can't. Most jails you can't like buy them yourself and then take them, drop them off, and you got to ship them directly from the publisher. So that's another way that you can actually share the information. You can also just transcribe the shows. This transcription software online, like Dragon transcription software. There's also, Google has a free one. If you just Google it, and you can take an MP3 of my audio, plug it in, you just direct it to it, and then it, goes through a process, and then it gives you like a printout. And you could actually send that to someone incarcerated, just like you were sending a letter. Most of my shows, if it shows about a half an hour, it will produce about a 5-page printout. I've done it before to send to someone. So obviously the hour-long shows would be a little bit longer, and some of the words may be a little jarbled here and there. But that's something that you can do. Where's the person incarcerated? What state?
It will be Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay. And are they currently doing any type of spiritual work?
Well, yes, they're currently listening to you, but we'll have to go in to do some time. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to get the information to prepare to be able,
okay.
If that's possible.
How long are they going in for? They've been sentenced?
The sentencing date was rescheduled, but
okay.
That the prosecutor was offering a 45 days, but then possibly 4 years probation. So the person is now considering doing the time to just walk the time down
and be done with. Yeah, so they don't have to have the probation. That's better.
So there's no probation.
So they're just gonna max out.
Correct.
For
the maximum is a year, so that would be an 8-month sentence.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So what you could do those things I just described to you, and just email the customer service line once sentencing comes in. Let me know the name. Once they get settled in, give me their number, and give me the address of the prison and the name, and we can write each other.
Okay.
All right. So you could just send that to questions@anewnation.org, questions@anewnation.org. Even if you don't have their DIN number yet, you could always, if you just give me the name and the address, they'll direct it to the person.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
ANU. Okay.
Yeah, questions@anewnation.org. You're welcome.
Questions@ANU.
Yep. Okay. All right. We're gonna go to our next one. 917 area code. You're on Chief Speaks. Greetings. Thank you for listening to the show. You're a little low, by the way. Could you come up a little bit? All right. Yep, I can hear you. You're a little better.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to ask, do you give guidance on relationships?
But not today. I don't feel like it today.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So let's see. 718 area code. We're gonna jump to you. And Sister Kim just said I sound annoyed, irritated. No, I'm not irritated today. I'm just in a quiet spirit. I'm just kind of in a reserved spirit, and the insight that I gave you all today, it actually it took me. I did a lot of traveling. Yeah, I did a lot of traveling via that insight. And it kind of, when you travel a lot, it wears you out, so I want to kind of keep the direction a certain way. You guys know I do give a lot of relationship advice. A person hung up, but I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it today. All right. So I'm going to warn you too. Anyone's going to try to call in with a dream interpreter, I'm not doing it today. I'm not in the mood. You could definitely call and share or whatever, but I don't feel like doing any of that type of stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just don't feel like it today. All right. Sister Kim, I know you want to share something.
I just wanted to say, kind of piggyback on what you were saying about what it took you to give this strong insight. I really want to ask the listeners to kind of think about some of the work that goes into these shows and how much it takes out of a person, and what you've spoken on many times is entitlement or selfishness. Most of the time you gave almost like a 45-minute insight, and none of the calls are related to anything that you said. And I just want to say that's kind of disrespectful on a lot of levels. And maybe it's because we don't know any better, or maybe it's just that self-entitlement we have. We just want to call in what we want. We don't care about anything this said or offered for free. I just want to say it's really disrespectful. And you gave a lot today. And I just wish that some of the callers would be a little more respectful. And if you have a question, let's see if we can direct it towards the insight that was given. And if you have a question, there's so many other outlets you can reach Chief at. You can schedule an appointment to get a consultation. All these customer service questions can go to questions@anewnation.org. And I just want to see, everyone call themselves king and queen. Let's try to rise up to that, or as close as we can get to that royalty seat of being, and kind of respect what was just given.
Okay. Well, y'all heard it. You pissed her off. You done pissed off Sister Kim. I know.
I mean, what you gave was just a lot, and I'm gonna have to go back a few times. And I really don't listen.
Well,
by listening,
you're right. But I'm listening.
I just want to say, let's have a conversation about the insight that was given.
The only thing about that is that I do invite people to come in and share whatever.
That's true. That's true.
So, but I know you've said that previously in other shows. This is the first time you voiced it publicly, you know. But yeah, you're right. But some, you know, there's a talent in being able to get into that flow and understand, like, okay, well, we're on something. Let's build. See, that's when you really want to build. When you're building into a direction, then people, you can put a foundation and people will add on it. But everyone is not trying to build. You know, some people are just trying to alleviate what they're going through for the moment. You know, we don't have, we you know, we got architects, we got builders, we got visionaries, and then we got observers who will come after everything is built and try to get an apartment, you know. So everyone has a place and everything, but yeah, you're right. But it doesn't matter that much, because, you know, we're getting ready to make some changes that's going to create some hard protocols where it's going to clean up some of that stuff. You know, I can't force you to build, just like I can't force you into an initiation, you know. And as a younger man, it took me a while to really accept that, to learn that. I mean, I went through a lot of just, why are they not getting it? And I'm not even talking about just the spiritual stuff, the community stuff. Like, why can't we pool money together? Why can't we, you know, buy up blocks, you know, things like that? Why can't we grow our own food and all these different things? But you start to realize after a while that you got to set some hard protocols. Some people, the vibrational pitch is so slow, they don't know what the heck is going on. They have no clue what's going on around them. And I'm not, you know, indicting anyone who's called off subject. I'll let the women do that, because women are more frugal. That's why, like I always tell you, men, it's better to have the women handle your business most of the time, because with us, we're just too cool about everything. You know, somebody come in one time, well, yeah, we'll go that direction. And women be like, oh, no, this is what we're doing. You know, they don't really care if they offend you, usually.
I was not trying to offend anyone.
Of course you wasn't. That's just your way. No, your way is not to, come on, don't do that on the air. Come on. Your way is not to offend people. I'm just saying, you know, that's just your way. You're going to say what needs to be said. I mean, I just mentioned Black and Nobel earlier. Do I need to bring up the whole Black and Nobel incident with you? Okay, that's when we first learned how thugged out Sister Kim could actually be.
No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mention it. I'm gonna save it in case I need it later. In case you get sassy or something one day, I'm gonna have to pull it out on you. You know, so yeah, it's all good. All right, we're gonna go to 718 area code because I mentioned it earlier. So I know he's ready. 718, you're on Chief Speaks.
Peace, Chief. Peace.
Peace, brother. How you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Good. What's happening?
Well, first off, I definitely wanted to show some appreciation for what you do. It's not good to always call and take. So hopefully other people will listen. It's not always good to call and take, but give back some appreciation and just say thank you for everything
you're welcome.
that you do.
You're welcome. You're more than welcome, brother. You know that.
And I definitely feel that's important, you know, having a family of my own at a young age. Like, it gets hectic when you don't feel appreciated, and it's not good to say that, okay, we're going to follow a person and then not show him that appreciation. So I just wanted to put that out there to everybody listening. Other than that, you know, just I guess more of a testimony. Man, you see me talking? Hush, man.
Isn't that what we just talking about?
Testimony.
That's what we just talking about, not knowing the vibration. He wants to do what he wants to do, you know. But you're going to be begging him. Trust me. There's going to come a time you're going to be begging that he be around you trying to play with you and stuff. Trust me. There's going to come a time he ain't going to have nothing to do with you. You'll see.
I believe it. Hopefully he goes do some great things, you know.
He will. That's what I'm saying.
Just more of a testimony. Last week, you know, just since we started implementing some changes, you know, my wife, she did a job because she's in culinary school. She did a job with actually cooking for the Christmas party at the Hiltons, which was it was actually for the Hiltons family, which it's not really a big deal because who are they? But it was just good to see how quickly that change could be implemented once you say you want to do something and you put that out there and see how fast it comes back. That same week we went to Lamar Park. I went to a bookstore out there. I bought a couple books and I started.
Where'd you go? SO1s?
Develop. Yeah.
Yeah. Good brothers. They're good brothers.
Yeah, so I love that whole area.
Yeah, it is.
Stumbled across the area when we first got here, just by happenstance. It was just like, oh, this is a cool vibe,
Yeah, definitely.
And then I started building, just lectural periods for the family internally.
Nice.
Where we're going to start working on developing a couple principles in-house. And, just watching and monitoring the effects as you go outside of the house. And actually, I started doing one, and it came right back to something that you always talk about, which is the character development.
Right.
And just developing someone's character. So I started on the royal principle, and the person I was studying to say, okay, I'm going to develop this royal principle is Emperor Haile Selassie I. Him, and I know you call him the famous Africans, the Ethiopians.
Yeah, fabulous.
So when I went to I picked up a book that actually one of his family members wrote about him. It's a new one. It just came out not too long ago. And it just has magnificent lessons on, royalty and how to carry themselves and their loyalty to the country. So that inspired me to start talk to my family about the royal principle. And as I said, it brought up the whole character development. And I remembered when you did talk about that, and just going in on that. So it seems like everything's just coming full circle for me. If you did, I don't know about anybody else, but if I didn't pick it up that last go round, now I'm in a position where I have to pick it up because I have to implement it into my family building.
Right. That's good stuff. Good stuff, brother. That's real good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, thank you for the sharing. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Right. Anytime. All right. Cool. So we got a bunch of people on the air. I told you I was going to end the show early, but you guys know how I am. As long as somebody calls and wants to express, I'm going to be there. I just wish I could just be thugged out sometimes. You know what I mean, Sis Kim? Just hit the end button.
No.
Just hit that end button. End episode. Okay. Yeah, I'm learning. All right. 45 area code. You on Chief Speaks.
Hey, Yuya. I'm gonna make it quick.
Okay.
I just
All
wanted
right.
to say thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it, and I most definitely would not have as much progress in my growth or awakening without Chief Speaks.
Oh, cool. That's good.
And I love if you could give more when you play the music and you also give a lesson. I love that. So if you could do a mixtape, that would be really dope. But
yeah, I did 2 of them already.
Yeah, where they at? Where can I get them?
Oh, come on. You gonna make Sister Kim go all hawk? Sister Kim smash! You gonna make her hawk out. It's all over the sites. Where's it at? Enlightenment and Transformation. Go to Enlightenment and Transformation. You're going to see, I'm trying to say it quick for she hawk out. Go to Enlightenment and Transformation and you're going to see free mixtapes. They up there. All right?
All right. I'm going to keep it 100. I've been so broke lately. But
yeah, well, they're
tax
free.
Season come, I'm going to be on them black. They're free?
Free mixed? Yeah, I mean... Listen, how much stuff? I mean, I got most of my stuff. 85% of everything I do is free.
Ritual.
Oh my goodness.
And how the heck you gonna be listening, making all this progress, and you talking about you broke?
I am.
Come on, you ain't representing. You are not representing. You make the Scientologists making us look bad. Come on now. We supposed to have money.
I'm coming. I'm seriously. I'm coming out of it. And yeah, I know I'm gonna be making money once I had a lot of.
Once the government gives you some money, huh? Once the government gives you back your tax return, then you're gonna be rich. Once the government gives you back your own money.
No, I'm finally starting to hustle up and work for myself, and instead of doing the 9 to 5, paycheck to paycheck.
This is what you do. I'm gonna tell you the trick. All right. Every day, give somebody some money.
Okay.
Every day, without fail. I'm not saying $5. It could be $1. Give somebody something every day. Okay. Start planting. That's how you seed plant. Start planting those seeds and watch what's going to happen. It's going to start coming at you. I don't worry about money, me myself, because I'm always giving somebody something constantly. Heck, today, once the show goes off, I got a bunch of stuff that I'm giving away. Printers, 2 laptops, looking around, a bunch of stuff, artwork. I got some people coming by later today to pick the stuff up. You know, always just keep giving. The more you give, the more you get. I know it sounds real childish, but it actually does work. You know, just give and do for people. And if you want to live a long time, do something nice for somebody every day.
Okay.
That's how you get rich. You could hustle. Hustling's cool, but you know, hustling has a time span. It's on a clock. You know, you can't hustle forever. You know, but the way you feed into your retirement is by giving, by unconditional service. You give $1. You know, if you live in an area where people ask for money and stuff like that, then just give them some money. Don't worry about if they're gonna go get high with it, whatever. Just give it to them. You know, and start doing that consistently, and watch what's gonna start happening with your business. All right.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Take care. All right. Yeah, I don't want any of you not to have any money. That's you know, you can't focus on what we need to do like that. And plus, part of what you're supposed to do is emulate heaven on earth. You know, not that earth is a paradise, but you know, unless you don't feel the scarcity. If you don't care, then don't worry about it. Because I mean, relatively, we all are impoverished, and relatively, we all are very wealthy, depending on who's looking at us. You know, but you know, you definitely don't want to have the pains or the stress of poverty and try to meditate at the same time. And it just doesn't reflect where you come from. You know, if you're meditating and trying to get back to the source of your abundance and the source of your resources, which resource, I broke it down today, is source. So, or to look at the source, to bind to the source. So a resource is just going back to where you came from, which is a place of everything, is where everything came from. Then your world should reflect that. You know, a lot of times we're experiencing lack in our lives because we're so greedy. You know, I have people I know like that, and I remember saying that 20 years ago, like, you know what, this person's never gonna have nothing, because they were so greedy, and like, you know, they may have a car or something and they never want anybody to drive it or whatever, or they stingy about it. And I used to look at them and say, you know what, that's all they're ever gonna have, that thing that they're being so greedy about, that they're holding on to. And sure enough, 20 years later, they still in that same house or still with that same car. You know, they can't move beyond it. You know, you gotta give to get. I was gonna do a show on that one day, but I just never did it. Maybe I still will. And really, just, you know, I think about sometimes how we make all of these broad and harsh indictments on individuals who have transcended beyond where they came from, and we always feel like they have to give so much back to where they came from. And I've always felt that was a very foolish notion. You know, why do I have to give to the hood just because I came from the hood? You know, and in most instances, the hood tried to snuff me out and kill me, so I couldn't make it to where I'm at. So now I got to go back and give you something. That doesn't make sense. you know, and we say, well, yeah, but what about the people you left behind? What about them? Where is it an obligation that I have to do anything for anyone? Now, granted, those who come back as higher functioning spiritual beings, they always do more for people. And the reason is because the higher your vibration that you come back with, or the deeper your soul purpose, the more you have to get through in order to reach enlightenment. So as you go through the struggles and the stress and the trauma of life, what happens is through each experience and each trauma, making you that high level functioning deity on the planet, you develop a greater sense of compassion than the average person. So just by default, you're going to do things for people, you know, because your compassionate vibration is so powerful at that point. And it's only because you've been through so much muck and mire, you know. But again, it's not compulsory, you know, or I say it is compulsory. It's not obligatory, you know. So yeah, sometimes we got to think about that, you know. Just because people have this childish fascination with repping their hood for the rest of their lives doesn't mean that that's a healthy thing. A lot of times it's real idiotic if you really think about it. You know, you're going to rep something that was not of your design or your making, that was put there to destroy you. And for the rest of your life, no matter the level of success that you achieve, you're going to strive towards that. So then what happens when you move your family into a better situation? Your children will dirty up the new environment to try to make it that old environment that they heard about. You know, that's why you go to the suburbs and there's no corners, but the youth, they'll find corners. You know, it's backwards. You know, I was driving through a space the other day and I saw these youth playing dice against the sidewalk in front of someone's, and it was a suburb street. Wow, and they're playing dice against this because there's no stoops. You know, there's no gambling spot, so they have to make it that. They have to dirty it up. So, and it just looked real awkward. A tree-lined street and a bunch of youth over there bending over, trying to act tough like they're in a gambling spot, playing dice, you know. So, yeah, I know that's off the point. But, hey, everything y'all said has been off the point. So, I'm going to take another call.
Coming out.
Yeah, 260 area code. Yeah, right. 260, you're on Chief Speaks.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I got a slight cold, so excuse my voice.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed you sound a little congested. Are you getting over it? Where are you at in the cold? Where are you?
Yeah, at? I'm feeling much better today.
Okay. You taking something for it?
Some Theraflu.
You some Theraflu? Oh, you taking drugs? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you real congested. You should try to get some ginger in your system, because ginger opens up your capillaries, which allows you to release those toxins. You need to get some ginger. You sound like you need some ginger. You need something hot inside of you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If you,
and I actually have some organic ginger in there, actually.
Oh, you do? Okay, so you can make, if you want, you can make a tea with it. Yeah, my mom had me
get it.
Yeah, she knows. You can make a tea with it, or if you could just chew it. If you want to just chew it straight up, you can. But if that's too hot for you, just put it in some hot water. Don't put any honey in it though, because honey creates mucus. So honey would just kind of be counteractive to the ginger effects. But yeah, just drink that straight up. You're gonna see that mucus is gonna start coming out. And if you're feeling it in your head at all, you got it around your eyes right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear it. Put some garlic in there. You know, take a garlic bulb if you have one, split it up and put it in there. And if you're finding that you're having some trouble sleeping tonight because of the congestion, take if you have some onion, take the skin. You know, the skin that we usually throw away, the hard part of the onion that you can't chew. Boil some of the onion skins with some olive oil. And you put that together, and you drink that. I mean, don't drink the onion skins themselves, but just drink the liquid back. And
the liquid.
That'll knock the rest of that out. Yeah. So what were you saying, sis?
Well, see, I thought I was calling in for something. Calling for something else. You done gave me a remedy.
That's all good.
I was calling. You might after this. You might be thug and hit the button and end the call. I don't know.
Sister Kim might.
I've been, I don't know. Sister Kim, I hope she's able to give me some type of advice as well as yourself, somebody. I'm serious. I'm at a just an all mucked up, messed up place. I really, really am.
Come on, don't let the crying now get in the way of the show. Come with it. Tell me what's going on.
Here we go.
You can cry after when you hang up the phone.
I've been a devout Baptist for all my life. But a situation took place where my niece got killed back in June.
Okay.
And so then that's when I start kind of like, it's got to be something more to life.
Right.
This traditional stuff. The more I went to church after that, the more uncomfortable I felt. I'm like, every week he can't keep preaching to us the same thing. Well, it don't be the same thing. It start off with something different, but it always end the same way. About how Jesus died and came back, and and I'm sitting there and I'm starting to read for myself. I don't know. I just start getting in a place within myself where I know it's got to be much more to life than this.
Okay.
Then I'm going through a divorce as well. I know. I kind of heard you talk about divorce and things of that nature. That situation, I know. I'm not to bash him because it took two to tango, and I appreciate him being very honest with me. He had a problem with alcohol, and
what was
said he wasn't ready to give it up.
You just said you wasn't going to bash anybody, right?
I'm not trying to bash him. I'm just saying.
So what you bring up the alcohol thing
that was something that,
So why did you let us all know that you drove him to drinking? What do we need to hear that for?
I didn't drive. You know what?
You can't even say it because you know it's true.
No, I didn't drive him to drinking.
Yeah, he got tired. You know why you drove him to drinking? Because you started dealing with that voodoo. You was in the church. You was a good church lady. The next thing you know, you want to start practicing voodoo and lighting candles, and it drove him to Muscatel and Hen Rock. That's what happened.
He liked Tanqueray and
Oh, see, you knew because you was mixing the drinks. Talking about, you shouldn't be doing this, Al. Come on now, your liver.
No, I'm not saying. Well, I guess the reason why I said about his drinking was because he was honest with me. I knew he was an alcoholic before I got with him, but I guess I felt like I could heal him.
Because you knew you was messed up too. You figured you messed up too, so two messed up people might as well get together, right? So let's talk about your messed upness because he's not on the phone right now. So let's not talk about him. Let's talk about you because we can do something about you. We can't do nothing about him. And at the end of the day, he might not even be an alcoholic. But we can figure out what your stuff is right now. So what's wrong with you?
Let's get to it. Like you said, I'm messed up myself.
Okay. How? What do you want to be when you grow up? Okay, so
I cannot answer that right now.
I know you can't. I knew you couldn't answer when I asked it. So I cut through all that other nonsense about my ex-husband and all that. So your issue is you don't know what to do with your life. You don't know what life is supposed to be. So that's why I took your niece getting killed for you to say, well, heck, what have I been doing all this time? And if I got snuffed out today, what would my life have stood for? And then you told yourself, I don't think it would stand for anything. What's important to you? And don't tell me my children.
My kids.
I knew you was going to say it. I just said, don't tell me my children.
They are important to me.
How many children you got?
3.
3? 3 whole children. Yeah? Okay. All they names begin with the same letter? Y'all famous for that down south.
The other 2.
Oh, okay. One was different than the other 2. So you had the idea after the first
Larry,
one.
Stop it. No, it's Larry, James, and Jeremiah.
Larry, James, and Jeremiah. You know Jeremiah was a bullfrog, right?
Oh my God.
Here we go.
Okay, Larry, James, and Jeremiah. You know, that's the names of some of my three of my favorite relatives. Larry, James, and Jeremiah. My Uncle Larry is one who taught me how to box. He's the one, when I was a kid, he took me to meet Muhammad Ali, to the Muhammad Ali camp. You know, Uncle Larry. He died of cancer. Yeah, he's a good guy, though. He was an alcoholic, though. I found out. Well, that's what they say. He crashed a New York City subway. He was a he was a train conductor, subway conductor back in the days, and he used to go to work drunk all the time in the subways, riding the trains. And one day he crashed one, and he lost his job, pension, and everything. Everybody talked about the Uncle Larry crashed the train. He's all right by me, though, man. He always gave me butterscotch candy, so he good with me. I don't care what you crash. I don't care how many people got hurt. You know, just keep giving me the butterscotch. Yeah, so you all messed up because you don't know what to do with your life, because your investments have been in what all this time? What have you been doing with yourself all this time? Just working?
Basically, nothing. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, really nothing. Just living day to day.
Okay. And you don't want that for your children, right?
No.
What do you want your children to be? Larry, James, and Jeremiah?
More informed. Not following the traditions that I followed.
So we got a mission. Have you been teaching them? How old are they?
Wow, 22.
Oh, he's done. What else?
11.
Okay, we got a chance.
11.
Mm-hmm.
And 16 months.
Oh, 16 months. Okay, so 11 and 16 months. All right, so they got a chance. At 22, forget it. He's out there doing what he does, what y'all do down south. You know, he's done. All right, so we got the 11-year-old.
Actually, we in the Midwest.
What's the difference?
No.
Same thing to me. You still you country. You country. You clearly country. You can hear it. So you got a 16-month-old. It sounds like you need to get back with your husband, first of all, because you got a brand new baby and you just left your husband.
Yeah, but you said we ain't gonna talk about him. It's one of them reasons why you said that you can. We're not gonna talk about that.
Here we go with the nonsense.
Because he like Muhammad Ali.
Oh, he liked to beat up on you, huh? He kicked you in your butt and push you down a flight of steps. Make you call him Slick Willie.
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, but he been like that because y'all old now. So you got a 22-year-old. So he was doing that. He was doing more of that when he was younger, when he really had the strength to hoist you up and throw you around.
But he's
so that ain't nothing new.
He's only my youngest kid's father.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you got some hybrid stuff happening in there. Okay, so yeah, what you really need to do, the only thing you need to focus on right now is your legacy. That's it. Forget all that other stuff that's depressing you. What's the legacy? When I die, what are they going to say? And if you kind of put your focus towards that question and not being so concerned with, I'm using the question, but don't be so concerned with, well, what if they say, just say, what will they say that I stood for? What was my, what was my character? Right? What was the character that I played while I was here? It will help your children, the two that are left there, to better carve out their character too. Okay, because right now you telling me the father is a raging alcoholic, and you a sweet innocent ex-church girl. You got to remember that the children.
Said I was innocent now.
Yeah, well, we just using that because we on the air. But I know you ain't innocent. I can tell already. Yeah. And you drink too. Yeah, you drink.
Not anymore. Not like I used to.
But I could hear it. I could hear the old alcohol in you. You used to drink. I could hear them spirits still alive in you.
Sir.
Yeah, because you from down south. That's all y'all do is drink and fight over who touched my liquor. So, that's your thing. So what I'm saying is that if you put your focus more on legacy, you'll get much further. So if you went today, what would your character be? Whether it's my character as a teacher, I help people, I helped myself, whatever it is, that's what the focus needs to be on. right now, as you start diving into conscious information, it's going to take you all around the world. Trust me. You're going to learn that you need to eat like this and dress like this and this, that. Forget all that. Just leave that out for right now. Because how old are you right now? You about 40 years old?
42.
42, yeah. See, so you know, you're kind of at an age now where you can't do too much disruption of your system, right? So if you start infusing good things into your life and more righteous and more clear experiences, then the other things that you don't want will slowly fade away. You don't have to like say, I'm gonna stop eating pork, because I know you eat a lot of pork, you know, because you're from down south and everything. So, you know, I'm gonna stop eating pork. I'm gonna stop listening to Bobby Blue Bland. I'm gonna stop hanging out at that juke joint all night. You know, all that stuff that you do down there, you and you know, Suge Avery, you know. So if you take all that stuff out of the equation, then you'll be left with nothing. So leave that there, but just start to infuse more healthy experiences. Look at because you got two boys, right? Well, yeah, Larry, Jeremiah, and James. Okay, so and James and Jeremiah is the two that's left, right?
Correct.
Because Larry's he's gone, right? He's 22. He's out the house. So you got James and Jeremiah. So you look at those two boys and you make a determination as to what they need to be in order to conquer the world. That's how you look at them. Don't look at them in any less than that. What and don't worry about what everybody else is saying about them. What do they need to be to conquer the world? Do they need to be strong? You know, and take a hard look at the world. Do they need to be aggressive or do they need to be assertive? Do they need to be passive or do they need to be active? Do they need to be intelligent or do they need to be wise? Do they need to have a lot of imagination? You go through the list. You might have to sit down there with a pen and paper and then understand that those things that they need to be, at least half of those things you need to be. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And all this calling radio shows and crying about just knock that off. All right, you 42 years old. Nobody need to be hearing all that. It's just, ain't nobody gonna sit here and give you no titty milk. You're too old to be breastfed now. You understand what I'm saying? It's time for you to stand on your own too. You done got rid of your husband. You know, would you staying with your mother now?
No, actually, my mom's staying with me.
Okay, so however the situation is, so your 11-year-old will soon be a man. He's only a couple of years away from manhood, so you got to move quickly. He got about another 2 to 4 years before he's a man. Don't forget that he's 18-year-old thing. Take that out your mind. Manhood comes a lot quicker, especially when you don't have your father around or your father's a drunk. You got to grow up real quick. So you start giving them the tools that they need now. Start watching videos of strong men. You know, like Khalid Muhammad. Watch videos of Khalid Muhammad, Malcolm X. Expose them to that type of energy. You know, and then you start making a determination of what your character is going to be going forward. What's your redemption story? If you had to title a CD, let's say, well, I know they don't do CDs anymore. Let's say an iTunes playlist, right? And if it was your life, what would the name of the playlist be? And you pick 10 songs in that playlist, which signify not only the horrible times in your life, and then what your redemption looks like. So at track number 5, we start looking at your up. When you start to rise again, what does it look like? Who is that woman? And what are the songs that go along with it? You understand what I just said?
Yes.
Okay, so that's real simple. You don't have to do anything deep. No big, huge ritual. You ain't got to dance around a fire or nothing like that. Real simple. Start simple because you got enough already on your plate and you're already stressed out enough for you to now have to figure out how to worship another 10 gods. So just start with the real simple stuff. What is the legacy that I want to leave? What do I want the song of my life to be? When I'm dead and gone and my boys say, hey, you know what, play that playlist or whatever they have in the future by then, but play that music that really typifies what our mother was. That's what you want to start putting together for yourself. You want to stay? Where you said you live? Where you said Minnesota? You live?
Indiana.
Indiana. Oh God, you want to stay in Indiana?
No, not really.
Where you want to go?
I would like to go back to California.
Okay, what's stopping? Well, their father is in Indiana, right? The father wants the children to stay close to him, or he doesn't care if y'all leave or not.
I know my middle son's dad would, but my younger son's dad, I don't think so.
Oh, so you got 3 different children's fathers, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you really got to get on it. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can't just say that you've been consistently picking losers. We're not going to say that. I know that's what your girlfriends is telling you, but we're not going to say that.
No, you know what? Actually, James's dad is very involved in his life. Just asked me last week if he could get him, finish raising him.
Mm-hmm. So give them to him. Why didn't you say yes?
I did. We did. We came to the conclusion.
Okay, so when's he
Just
going?
didn't want to take him out of school.
Okay. Yeah, as soon
We're
as
going to
you
transition
can,
him over the summer.
as soon as you could do that, the better. Sooner you could do that, the better. All right. And obviously the little young one, the 16-month-old, he's with you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So and one thing to keep in mind: whatever channel we come through is what we are. So even though our African systems were paternal, they were also matrilineal. So they're all of one blood, all of those children. Even though you went berserk, but they're all of one blood. That's the good thing. They all came through one woman, one birth canal. But yeah, take your butt back to California. Why not? You 42. I mean, you're young enough for some life changes. You're young enough for that, at least. But you have to.
My mom lived with me, and she on dialysis and all that. And can't really be by herself. So
you ain't got no sisters and brothers?
I got 2 brothers.
Okay, well tell them to come and take care of mama. You still got a brand new fresh baby to raise, and that's a miracle baby. You had that baby when you was like 40, 41 years old. That's a miracle. You got to inject a lot of your energy into that child, and part of that surrounding and that environment that you're in with your mother is what created that mental insanity that you're currently dealing with. If you got out of that environment, yeah, I know what mama's like. I already know what mama's like. So if you got out of that environment, you'd at least be able to breathe for the first time. To breathe and then start moving towards defining yourself, because right now you ain't breathing. That's why whenever you start talking about your situation, you start crying, because when you breathe, you think. You can't even think about your situation. You're only feeling about your situation. You dig?
Yes, sir.
All right, you got it. We done spent enough time on this. Plus you holding back your tears. I hear you. All right, work on that. Just work on what is it that I want my legacy to be? What am I leaving? Even if the boys are not with you, you still are. Remember, you're Yemoja, you're the water. Wherever the water goes, the fish go. If the water's crappy, the fish are crappy. So your children are the fish, you're the water. So if you ascend and you do better things, then when the fish or your children want to go to better things and to go back to a better source, you give them a better place to go to. But as long as you stay in the muck and the mire of a polluted sewage, cesspool, then that's the only place that they'll be able to aspire to. Sewage. Got it?
Yes.
All right. Take care of yourself, sister, all right? And call back whenever you want. Next time you call back, make sure you on topic, though, all right?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. One love.
Wow. Amazing advice.
You think so?
Direction.
There's a whole lot more I wanted to say, but I didn't want to say it publicly.
There was a lot.
Oh, okay.
In what? I don't know if everybody's following, but it was a lot.
At least as long as she's following it, then we good. You only need one, to really get this revolution popping. We only need 1 or 2 people. You don't need that many people for a revolution. You know what I mean? 13. Let's say tops 12 people. 12 elders, 3 youth. You could take over anything. 12 elders, 3 youth. With 12 elders and 3 youths, you know what you could do? You could go to Detroit. You know, you go on eBay right now, they're selling on them houses in Detroit for $500.
Right.
You can go and you can buy up 3 or 4 square blocks of
with
those.
your tax return.
Yeah, with your tax returns, exactly. Of those dilapidated Detroit, Michigan homes. And you say, who want to live in the hood? Who want to live in the hood? You remember when Harlem was a hood?
Yep.
Before they had the $3 million Browns. Remember you couldn't give away one of them because they were all crack houses. Remember Fort Greene? Remember Bed-Stuy? You know? You remember when you couldn't even drive through? Forget what. You couldn't even drive through certain blocks. And remember when we used to do this thing back in the day? I don't know if you all remember. Never stop at a stoplight in Brooklyn. Or you going by Edenwald Projects in the Bronx. Don't stop at the stoplight. You knew better. You better run that red light. You know, because if you see somebody on the corner, a group of guys on the corner, there's a red light, keep driving. You know, if you could take 12 elders, 3 youth, you buy up a bunch of homes and these blighted communities like Augusta, Georgia, Macon, Georgia, you know, where they have all these blighted homes they just can't get rid of, and they're selling them for $1 as long as you bring them up to code, or you can get them on eBay for $300-400, and you know, you buy up a couple of blocks, and guess what? You now have just created a conscious community. You can do whatever you want. You know, everybody's living together. You can school together, and you know, knock down the fences between the yards and create big plots where you can grow food. Doesn't take that many people. I'm telling you, it doesn't take that many. So as long as she got it, we're okay. And she's got Larry, James, and Jeremiah. And James and Jeremiah, who knows? They may be the ones. You know, they may be. That's why you never write a youth off, because they may be the one. You never know. You know, I was told when I was 11 that I'd be dead by 21. You know how many times I heard that? You'll be either dead or in jail by 21. That was always said to me when I was younger. You know, I mean, you never know where a person might be. I'm a little bit older than 21, so I mean, I made it. But you never write anybody off, you know. So Larry may be the one. Well, Larry's 22. Larry's done. So Jeremiah may be the one. Or James may be the one. They may be the ones that turn this whole thing around for us. You know, they may be the ones that go out and finally create that community in Indiana or California or something. Or they may be the ones to bring our next body of information from the stars that will take us to the next place. They may be the ones to usher in a new era. You never know. It doesn't take 5 million people to make this thing happen. You could do it with 5 people. You know, it could be a kill son. The one who's always, every show, he's in the background, doing something crazy, you know, but he's listening. He's listening. You know what I'm saying? That's how he's responding, you know, and he may be the one that may be like, yeah, Pops, like, I used to hear you on Chief Speaks. I went back and listened to the archives, and that was real cute, the stuff you used to say, but I'm gonna take it to the next level. I'm gonna show you how we really do it, you know? Wouldn't that be awesome? You know, to be shown up by your children. You know, I had one of my youth say to me the other day, shouldn't adults have boundaries? I was like, what? I said, listen, man, you know, if you do something stupid, such and such gonna happen, man. Don't, you know. And he was like, well, shouldn't even adults have boundaries? I'm like, shut up. You don't come here with these intelligent arguments trying to debate me. You know, you know. Yeah, exactly. Just so he can get out of this behind whooping. You know, I mean, I know I may have done something wrong, but I mean, we all have our personal space and boundaries, and shouldn't adults even be aware of your boundaries? You know, but it's beautiful when they show you up to it at the same time. All right, I'm gonna take some more. We have a lot of calls on the line. So that's every time I say I'm gonna close the show down, then 30 million people call in. You know. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm not going to be able to get to you. I'm going to pick and choose some of these because it's just so many. All right. So I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to diss anyone. I'm not going to be able to get to everybody. but I'll try as many as I can. 561 area code. You're on Chief Speaks.
Greetings, Chief.
Greetings. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Things are well. Things are pretty good. Actually, I'm lying. They're okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie to you just now. They're okay.
Okay. You remember me, right?
Nope.
A little bit? No?
Not at all. I think I somewhat. Wait, you're the woman who. It's gonna come. Give me the issue. There was something you were working on. I feel like I do remember you. You just started calling recently,
you gave
right?
me a lot of information. Yeah, you talked to me about the divine breath, and you talked to me about the difference between spirit and soul.
All right, none of that sounds familiar, but I do remember your voice.
Yeah.
I remember it was towards the end of a show that you called in, and it was recently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. It comes and goes like that.
This is my first time. This is my first time calling in.
Oh, it's your first time calling in?
Yeah.
Oh, then it's not the same person. You sound like some woman who called in. Okay. So no, then I don't remember.
It's funny that I called in and I don't know if it's on my end that's the problem, but I can't hear the other person talking on the last phone call. I could just hear you.
Oh.
And I found it kind of ironic that she brought up a subject that I kind of wanted to ask you.
This is S, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like my name?
Your first name starts with the letter S, right?
Yes.
Oh, of course I know who you are.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we talked and it was kind of cool, so I thought you'd remember me, but...
Oh, come on, don't start with that. Don't start with that. You're on the phone. It took me a minute. I talked to a lot of different people. But I remember now. I didn't want to say your name online, but I know exactly who that. Yeah. Took me a couple of seconds.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So she brought up the alcohol, and I kind of had a question on that because recently I just got into like a discussion with my family, with my mom, and I basically said that I feel, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong and tell me why, but I have a feeling, like I truly believe that when someone drinks alcohol, whether it's like, if someone drinks alcohol, it's to fill a void. Whether they say it or they don't admit it, like whether it's like conscious, like they're doing it consciously or unconsciously, like I feel like people drink to fill some kind of void. And it's something that I really like. I strongly believe it, and like.
Yeah.
And.
Well,
and
remember.
If I'm wrong.
Remember when you first got on the phone with me the first time, and you said something about belief, and I said never believe anything.
Right.
Right. So then now you're using the word again. So you didn't learn anything, huh? But I'm glad you said belief and not no. Because if you would have said no, then you would feel even worse when I'm getting ready to tell you right now that your theory is off.
Okay.
People drink to fill a void. Well, do people eat to fill a void?
Yeah, hunger, right?
No. People don't eat for energy?
Okay. They do.
Okay. So could a person drink to be energized?
Isn't alcohol isn't a depressant? Like a depressant? Like doesn't it like depress your systems or something? Like it does something to like.
If you take in too much sugar, don't you throw your blood sugar levels off and you fall asleep? Can't food put you to sleep? It's like a depressant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it not the motivation behind it that makes it an emotional experience? Like I'm drinking emotionally or I'm eating emotionally? You can drink emotionally or eat emotionally, or you can drink or eat for other reasons. You've boxed in that one eye.
90 seconds.
90 seconds. We're going to archive soon, everybody. So if you're not called in, just call in. So you've boxed in the one experience of drinking into just one motivation. And it doesn't work that way. People consume alcohol. I mean, alcohol wasn't even invented for the purposes of filling an emotional void. You know, that wasn't its original purposes. I mean, we use alcohol for medicinal reasons as well.
60 seconds.
Do you drink emotionally?
I think I do.
So you've now projected that to everyone.
But I don't necessarily do it like, oh, I had a bad day, I'm going to have a drink. Like, I don't do it like that. But, like, I feel like to some extent, you know, that I do, although I'm not, like, completely doing it, like, with that intent.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But you just said you do drink emotionally, so the intent is there. Do you ever drink because there's a spirit inside of you that you want to invigorate through the alcohol?
I don't think so.
Okay.
10 seconds.
10 seconds, everyone. Anyway, so then we immediately know that your purpose and your focus in drinking is pretty myopic. You're only doing one thing to drink, you know, but there's many other reasons why people would drink. I mean, I don't particularly drink, but I will drink. You know, I'm not totally opposed to it, but I'm not necessarily a drinker. You know, but certainly I end up with a lot of alcohol in my mouth through different rituals and ceremony. And I give that alcohol through ritual and ceremony, not because the spirits that I work with are devoid of anything, but it's an awakener. You know, it's just like splashing water on somebody's face. So there's certain things that you can invigorate and enliven inside of you through certain chemical substances, alcohol being one of them. But you don't want to project your dysfunction as it relates to alcohol onto the rest of the world. You know, now I have a feeling maybe the people who you were, I already kind of know what you're talking about, but I just don't want to share your business on over the air. But I think you may be inundated with people or a person who may be using alcohol as a means of escapism. And that inundation has now totally covered your perspective of the world. And that's not, what's that?
Absolutely, yeah. You're completely, yeah. You have the point. Like, that's how the discussion came up, because my family does have
I know.
these gatherings where they like get drunk, and I can sense like it's not, you know, I feel like they are. But then here again, like I hear my judgment, and I feel like I don't want to judge so harshly because you know.
Well, your judgment is linked to something outside of the alcohol. I mean, your family's indigenous. You know what I mean? So, you know, indigenous people, I mean, your family's native, you know, so alcohol has always been a part of festive experiences. You know, it didn't necessarily mean that now that there's alcohol here, we're going to start fighting and flipping tables over, you know, but it was a means and a way to bind people together to a moment and to an experience. Just like you take the peace cup and you pass it around, you know, that we do sometimes at Kwanzaa or different ceremonies, and everybody sips from it, you know. But there are experiences associated. But I'm going to tell you this, based on what you're describing, whether alcohol was present or not, you would still have that same dysfunction would still be there, whether the alcohol is there or not. That's what really needs to be addressed, not, you know, drinking alcohol. That's not really so much the issue. It's the inherent dysfunction that's present is more the issue.
The dysfunction of
the family,
of the
individuals, the individuals in the family.
Okay.
Like when they're drinking and you're not drinking, do you feel excluded from the festivities?
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not as drunk as them, and I'm not like dancing like they are because, you know, they're wasted. But
well,
yeah, I guess.
You need to take a look at that exclusion. Is anyone crying after drinking? Like, I got to stop doing this?
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. so much. Like, yeah. I mean, maybe not. Like, I shouldn't be. I don't involve myself in the crime,
Right.
but I know that there's crying, like, men and women in my family, like, after, like, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, like, there's been moments, so.
Mm-hmm. And you being excluded from that experience, what do you think you're supposed to serve in that moment? How are you supposed to serve in that moment?
Am I supposed to help?
Well, what you think? Miss, I believe in this very strongly.
It's just that I feel like it'd be the blind leading the blind right now. You know, like you said last time, and you said I would take offense to it, and I haven't so much. I actually have embraced what you told me, like, and I haven't embraced it, like, oh yeah, I'm ignorant, but I am ignorant. You know, I'm still learning a lot.
Yeah, you're like 18 years old. What are you gonna know? Like, you know, you still wet behind the ears.
Right. So I'm still learning. So again, like you said, like I should help, but I feel like I can't, since I don't know enough. I should be the blind leading the blind. Because and then plus, like you said, I'm so young. Like these are my.
Then why even make a judgment?
If
you can admit all of that, why even make a judgment? What's the point in even doing that then?
Making the judgment of, I'm sorry, what?
Of the behavior. Why even make this indictment on the behavior and the reasoning for the drinking?
Because I have to go to
because you have to
like,
quantify
right now
things.
We're having a discussion.
Because your biggest issue is that you always feel you need to quantify everything. And you don't have the tools to do that yet. You're not old enough yet. You're not wise enough yet to do that much quantification. That's why.
What does quantification mean? Healing?
No. It means like to add things up, to define them. You know, like if I give you a handful of copper, you know, instead of taking it and taking the gift, you may say, I'm going to go get this appraised and see how much this is worth and how many copper pieces are here. You know, always seeking to define things that you don't have the ability to define is quantification, or adding things up, putting a numerical value to it. Like God is 7,000 miles above the earth. You know, instead of just understanding the allegorical aspect, God is just real away, real distant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to find out. And when you try to define every step and every moment and every experience like that, you lose the true meaning of it. You know, you lose the true meaning of the experience of it, because you never could really know. Like you're saying, I believe this deeply. Now, you were smart enough to say, I believe it. And then you threw the deeply in there so that way I wouldn't argue against it. But the belief thing, you already knew, like, I don't know what I'm talking about. This is just how I feel. And if there's a feeling associated with it, then there's no thought associated with it, because I can't feel and think at the same time. It's one or the other. I can think then feel, or feel then think, but I can't do them both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so work on that. All right?
Okay.
All right,
yeah.
S.
Thank you.
Take care. Good hearing from you again.
Yep.
All right.
All right, have a good day.
You too. Bye. Yeah, I talk to a lot of people. You guys don't get offended when I don't remember you right off the bat, especially the women, because for the most part, women's voices all pretty much sound the same. It's just your accent's a little bit different, but you all pretty much got the same timbre until you get older and you get that, you know, hey brother, you know, you start sounding like Assalamu alaikum, brother. You know, but yeah, when you're younger, I mean, she sounded like I wasn't sure if it was China. Remember China calling in with singing with the songs, or I told you China was never gonna call back.
She has not called back.
And you say, yes, she is. I told you she wasn't. She ain't like that truth. Mm-hmm. I told you start giving truth to people, they run. They never want to talk to you again. They're offended by it. I knew that was gonna happen. But screw it. So yeah, so that has been. I know I got a lot of callers on the air. You guys just call back next Sunday. That's all. And we're going to be changing the whole call-in structure soon anyway, by the way. So you know, it'll be a little bit more organized going forward. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to pick up. It's just too many. All right. So I apologize if I didn't get to you. Well, actually, I'm not going to apologize. I just didn't get to you. you know, I'll be back. All right. And that has been our Chief Speaks. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And remember, Monday through Friday shows are on YouTube exclusively. Okay, so don't call in the Blog Talk to listen to Foundational Fridays or Thunderground Thursdays or our new Asafo or Masterminds Monday. If you call into Blog Talk, you won't hear anything. You have to go to our YouTube channel. You can go to Enlightenment and Transformation TV, or even ANU Nation may have some of them going forward. We got some new shows coming out. All right. So just as a note, all right, things are changing a little bit. All right. So that has been it, our show. Sister Kim, you got anything for him?
I think I've said everything I need to say.
Okay, no problem. All right, and so until next strong, we'll see you all, and until such time, just think about initiation and the things that were shared in the insight. All right, Hotep.